In this video, we're gonna look at the BlueDriver OBD2 scanner, and this is a pretty cool little device that could do big things. Now, I first heard about this from someone in my job. I'm an inspector and I need scanners so I could get some information, but here recently I got asked to get some live data, and I ordered this on Amazon because I felt I could try it, and if it doesn't do the job, I could return it. Luckily, this is pretty cool. This kind of steps in between a professional full-blown snap-on scanner and a basic scanner. I feel like it gives you all the data you need, and where it stops is where you could turn on stuff, manipulate stuff, do certain things with the high-end scanner that you would need to actually do some real in-depth troubleshooting or diagnosing. But this one gives you enough information and data to get started, in my opinion. I feel it's definitely one of those things that I would say it's advanced, but it's definitely not expert, which I think is super cool. And it's pretty easy to use, which I was impressed. You just plug it into the OBD2 connector, you download an app, the app doesn't ask you a million questions, luckily it was a very straightforward process, and then you're good to go. Now, I'm not gonna hit on every feature, just because there's a lot of features I don't use, but some of the key features is that you could read codes, clear codes, look at historical codes, but you could also get that live data, and then you could log it and then email it to yourself. All right, let's show it to you. Okay, we're gonna start with read codes. And then it's going to ask us if we want to check stuff, check engine light. I don't have any engine lights or any trouble codes on this car right now, but it's still going to scan it, which is pretty cool. And you could see it in real time to see how long it takes. It's not super quick, but it's also not super slow. So it says scanning 100%. Okay, so it said 0 codes found, but in my opinion, I feel like it took too long to get to that, where my little scanner could do that in like 1/10 of that time. So if we go to clear codes, as you can see, I don't have any type of codes right now to clear them. But I do like this part right here. We have vehicle information. I think this is laid out really nicely. You got a lot of data there. Potential recalls, downloading recall information. Looks like it's telling us about a recall for airbags. So that's good information to know, honestly. I like that they're giving us this data, which is really neat. Service bulletins, I think that's also super cool. And we have some service bulletins for all kinds of things here, which I think this alone is really, really helpful. I think this is one of a kind setup right here for most entry level scanners. They're pulling up data that is really important that sometimes you have to pull up yourself. And as a technician, or if you're doing any repairs, this is excellent information. So props to them on that. And then we have the oil reset light, which is great. TPMS sensor, which is good. And battery registration, that's usually pretty good for Porsches and stuff like that. I'd be curious to see if that would work for that. And of course, we don't have any of that. So we're gonna do the live data, and then we're gonna come back and tell you what we think. And we're gonna do this while we're driving so you guys can see the live data stuff. Okay, so you download the app called BlueDriver, you open it, and at this point in time, it's gonna connect to the car. All right, no vehicle connected. It's connecting. And it has our VIN right here, and it tells 0 trouble codes and any pinning codes. So a couple things you could do is you could do some live data logging. All right, guys, if you look, we're doing some live data logging here. In the top, you have your time, and in the bottom, you have different parameters that you could set. And it's pretty cool because you're actually able to see some of this stuff. But what I like is that you could essentially just email it to yourself when you're done logging, which is super cool. And you could add a bunch of different things, and it does it all live, which I like. And again, most scanners do that, expensive scanners, and really a lot of handheld scanners. But I like that you could just email it to yourself right away, and it's on your phone, which is pretty cool. So now you got a good overview of what this bad boy can do. And I can say I'm pretty impressed by two things. The service bulletin information and recalls, I think, is one of the coolest features I have seen recently. As a matter of fact, for me, it's one of the first times that I've seen that information provided in a very inexpensive type of scanner, which I think is super cool. On top of that, the live data logging and being able to email that information is really cool, especially if you're trying to look at things for tuning, or if you're trying to look at things later on to diagnose or compare certain information. I think it's pretty cool. The only con I would say is that with certain things, it takes longer than a traditional one where it's wired. I don't know if it's because this is accessing information right away, where this has to communicate this and then relay it to the phone. Now, the live data was pretty on point. It was literally as it happened, which was good. I'm just thinking the check engine light and stuff like that takes a little bit longer. Well, I'm gonna put the link in the description for this. I think this is a great buy for pretty much all car owners. Even if you want to check your engine light, look at your car, get a little nerdy as far as service bulletins, recalls, and any other information, this is pretty neat. For me, I have both of these and I put them in my bag. All right, guys, thanks for watching.